A firm is operating in a short run. Its fixed cost is 250,000, while average variable cost is 37.5 and price is 50. Determine the size of the lot the firm should produce to avoid losses. What must the lot size be if the firm wants to earn a minimum profit of 50,000? Consider a long-run cost function. C equals 700 Q raised to power 0.67 with initial output Q naught equal 600 and price P naught equals 120. Calculate the initial profit. 2. Should the firm accept the price cut of 30% if orders were thereby doubled? 3. What is the minimum price cut acceptable to the firm to double output? Suppose the marginal product of labor is currently equal to its average product. If you were one of 10 new workers the firm was about to hire, would you prefer to be paid the value of your average product or the value of your marginal product? Would it be in the interest of an employer to pay you the value of your average product? When tackling problems such as the one we have in question 4 of the year 2015, there are some basic concepts, basic formulas that you need to know, understand, for you to be able to attempt such a question. They are quite cheap. I would urge you to listen very carefully. The concept of total cost, which for short I will leave as TC. The formula states that total cost, most of us should know this, equals to fixed cost, FC, plus variable cost, VC. This is a fundamental basic formula. The total cost of a firm is the addition of the fixed cost of the firm and the variable cost of the firm. If you want to manipulate this formula, depending on what you are looking for example, if you were given this and you were not given this, but you were given this and you are looking for this, it's all the same thing. What do? For purpose of explanation, I put this as total fixed cost and this as total variable cost. So total cost is equals to total fixed cost plus total variable cost. Total fixed cost on this hand will now become what? Total fixed cost. You just bring this over, this equality sign becomes negative. Is total cost minus total variable cost. What I just did here is simple. Total cost equals to total fixed cost plus total variable cost. Assuming I want to make this the subject of the formula, I'm looking for this. All I need to do is just to bring this way. It becomes total cost. This positive sign crosses here is minus total variable cost. That's what we have here. Total cost minus total variable cost. We are looking for this, so it stays here. If this is what I'm looking for, total variable cost, is just straightforward. Total cost minus total fixed cost. The same thing I did here is what I did here is what I just did here now. I'm looking for total variable cost. What do? What I just need to do, I bring this way and I bring this way, remove the equality sign that was here, and I have this. Okay, so I believe we should know that. Now, this is one of the ways to look for total cost, total fixed cost, and total variable cost. There are questions. Some questions will ask you to look for total fixed cost when you are not given either this or this, but you'll be given this and asked to look for this and this. So what do? But in such cases, you'll always be given the quantity Q. So this is what I'm trying to say. This has to do with averages. The average total cost, ATC, is equals to the total cost, TC, divided by the quantity. Average total cost equals to total cost divided by quantity. Also, average fixed cost equals to total fixed cost divided by the quantity. We also have average variable cost, which equals to total variable cost, TVC, divided by the quantity. From this, 1, 2, 3, you can get your total cost from this formula. All you do, you make this subject of the formula, it becomes total cost. When you take this way, you cross multiply. You take this way, you have total cost equals to average total cost times Q. That's another way to get your total cost. You need to have this knowledge. It's very, very important. Now, you can also have your total fixed cost as you have here. You can have your total fixed cost, taken from this formula. It's equal to, you cross multiply this, you have average fixed cost times Q. That's what we just did now. Q times this equals this. Here, Q times this equals this. That's what we have there. Now the last one, I think we should be able to do this. The last one is so easy. Q times this equals this. So you bring your TVC on your left to your left. TVC equals to AVC times Q. AVC times Q. So this is very, very crucial. We should know this formula. We should know this formula. Have it in mind. So you take it down while we'll progress to the third phase of formulas. So we've talked about some important formulas. In addition to those formulas is this. If total cost is equal to total fixed cost plus total variable cost, that's one key formula we should also note. Then total revenue, this is the total cost of doing your business. So what is going to be your revenue when you incur this cost? Of course, you also make profit, or you make incomes, sales. Total revenue or total sales is quite different from total profit. Total revenue and total profit are not the same. Revenue has to do with how much you sold. So when you take out your cost from your sales, then you can talk about the profit. So total revenue is the quantity Q. The quantity Q that you sold multiplied by the price you sold each one, P. So in other words, TR is equals to PQ. TR is equals to PQ. Please take note of this formula. Another important formula you should note, most especially when the word minimum is used in the question, is this. Total revenue is equals to total cost. When your total revenue, all that you sold, equals to the amount you spent in producing whatever you are producing, you have what is referred to as an equilibrium. You have no profit. But in economics, we call this a condition of normal profit. This is what economists refer to as normal profit. You know, I told us from the beginning that cost concept has to do with how you see things. You can't tell an accountant that you made profit. To an accountant, you have not made anything, is zero. But to an economist, we call this normal profit. If you make just 1 unit of profit, to an economist, they will tell you you've made abnormal, supernormal, supernormal profit. So, for this is always this establishes a state of equilibrium, no profit, no loss. So this should be the minimum state in which a business is run. You shouldn't go below this. So with all these formulas, I think by now we should be able to solve the question. Maybe with some little bit of mathematics knowledge. So now we go to the question. A firm, they say, is operating in short run. Its fixed cost is 250,000. The fixed cost is equals to 250,000. That's the first information. While average variable cost is 37.50. AVC, average variable cost is 37.50. I hope you are following me. And the price P is equals to 50. Now, here is the question. You are asked to determine the size of lot the firm should produce to avoid losses. The size of lot the firm should produce to avoid losses. This is where we apply our understanding of cost analysis. We are asking for the quantity which this firm will produce, whereby they will avoid losses. Avoid losses means you will not make profit and also you do not make loss. You don't make, what is that quantity whereby when they produce it and they go to the market to sell it, they will not make losses. So if they don't make losses, indirectly, they are telling you that they also do not make profit. But they do not make losses. So that means what they had was zero. Zero doesn't mean loss to an economist when it comes to business. It is when you begin to go below zero, then you can start talking about losses. So, based on the formula we talked about just now, the quantity at which they can produce and not make losses is when equilibrium is established. At equilibrium, total revenue equals to total cost. Like I just said now, total revenue equals to total cost. Now, we were given that total revenue, from what I said, is simply the price, PQ, equals to total cost. Total cost in this case is fixed cost plus variable cost. Or, if you like, total fixed cost plus total variable cost. That's what total cost is here. But when you watch out, we were not given the total variable cost. The question says average variable cost equals to this. So if average variable cost is equals to this, what then is total variable cost? But remember, we said that total variable cost is the same thing as average variable cost times Q. Average variable cost times Q. Average variable cost times Q. That's what total variable cost is. So, when we apply the information we are given, P is 50 times the quantity of unknown. We are looking for Q. Q is not known. They are asking what is the lot size, what is the quantity, equal to total fixed cost of 250,000 plus total variable cost is not given per se, but we can get it from here. We were given the average variable cost to be this 37.5, and you know that the formula you have to multiply it by Q. You have to multiply by Q. Now 50 times this will give us 50Q, which equals to 250,000 plus 37.5Q. Here we have 50Q. When you take this way, it becomes 37.5Q equals to 250,000. This take this, you get 12.5Q equals to 250,000. I hope you are following. Okay, so that's where we are now. We want to get the value of Q. So this is the value of Q. Q is equal to, from here, okay, I'm sorry, you can't see the lower part. Okay, this is where we are. I said when you say 50Q minus this, you have 12.5Q equal to 250,000. Q equals to 250,000 divided by 12.5. We will have 20,000 units. The lot size is 20,000 units. That is the lot size. So what we did is just we applied this formula, total revenue equals to total cost. Where we know already total revenue is price times quantity, and total cost we know it to be given as fixed costs plus variable costs. And variable cost in this case, we know it to be average variable cost times quantity. This was given. So you multiply it to what was not given, which is the Q, and then you solve it. So the first question there, the answer is 20,000 units. That's what we have here, 20,000 units. I hope we are following. Now, taking a good look at the question, second question, it states as follows. What must the lot size be if the firm wants to earn a minimum profit of 50,000 naira? In this case, there is an introduction of profit here, not just the sales, not just the revenue. We already know from what I said before, with the word minimum, you always have total revenue equals total cost. Whenever you hear that word, just bear this in mind. And profit is the symbol for profit. Every layman should know this. Profit equals to the total sales you made, which in this case is total revenue, TR, minus the cost it took you. How much did it take you to produce what you sold? That is TC, total cost. In the question, they told us, what is the quantity we must produce? Or better still, what is the quantity we must produce so as to make a minimum profit of 50,000 naira or 50,000? So 50,000 as your profit equals to total revenue. We know is price times quantity. The price has been given as 50. The quantity is what we are looking for, Q, minus the total cost. We know already is fixed cost plus variable cost. The fixed cost is 250,000. It has been given already, plus Our variable cost, we don't know per se, but we were given the average variable cost to be 37.5. So total cost in this case will become, or rather variable cost in this case will be average variable cost of 37.5 times the quantity Q. I hope we get this aspect. It's very important. If you don't get it, you can rewind and hear what I said in this case. I will try and come back again. Total cost is total fixed cost of 250,000 plus variable cost. Variable cost was not given, but we were given the average variable cost, which is 37.5. If you multiply that to the quantity, you will get your total variable cost. That's how to impute variable cost into the formula. So 50,000 equals to 50 times Q. You have your 50Q minus, in brackets here because of what we have there, you have 250,000. all right. Now when this multiplies to this, it gives you minus, and then you have this times this will give you 37.5 Q. You have to introduce this because of that over there. All right. So we are subtracting all of this from this. So this is like bracket. So you have to apply the law of BODMAS here. So now you have 50,000 equals 50Q minus you open the bracket now, 250,000 and minus 37.5Q. Just want to open the bracket now. In fact, as a matter of fact, I should have opened it. And okay, let's continue. So at this stage now, bring this way. At this stage, you have, if we are to collect like terms, when this moves over here, you have 250,000 with this negative sign in front, crossing over this equality sign becomes plus. So you have 300,000. What I mean is 250,000 plus 50,000 will give you 300,000. Our equality sign is back here. Then our 50Q minus this. We are collecting like terms, 37.5Q. So we have 300,000 equals to 12.5 Q. We are looking for Q. So when you divide 300,000 by 12.5, you have your answer of 24,000 units. So this is the number of units that must be produced in order to get the smallest profit of 50,000. You have to produce 24,000 units. So that is just the answer to the second part of the first question. I hope we got this all right. Now we go into the second part of the question, and it reads as follows. It says, consider a long-run cost function where C is 700 Q raised to power 6 over 7. The cost function is given by C, which equals to 700 Q raised to power 0.67.